Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your boy.
Going up.
Caesar, shout out to you. Envy, shout out to you. I appreciate you guys for being here. A lot of people talk about being an entrepreneur. Envy, you have book, radio show, just got off the plane from Houston. Can you walk people through what it takes to actually be successful and financially free, and why you still work as hard as you do, even though from the outside looking in, for most people, you're at a spot where most people would retire? Because I think people see it on Instagram and think it's easy. But can you give them the real about what it takes and how much work you do every day and have been doing for the last 15, 20 years to be solvent?
For me, it's not necessarily for me anymore. It's past me, right? And when I mean that, I'm good. Yeah. I'm secure. I'm financially secure. But I need to make sure my kids are like that. So every time I do this, I try to create something that my kids can run. So if you look at it like this, I'm a businessman, right? So for instance, and I'll just break it down like this, right? So I got a stainless steel Sky Dweller on right now, right? If you Google it right now.
Nice watch. Nice watch.
Thank you. If you Google it right now on Instagram or whatever, it say the watch is $31,000 or $34,000. Let's say. If you wait and be patient and learn how to do it and you get it, let's say from the Rolex store, it's $15,000. I sell everything. Watch gone. That's how I am. If this wasn't a present, watch gone. Same thing with cars. You see me with all those cars. I'm the same way. For instance, that green 918 is a Porsche that you see, and it was a electric acid green. I paid 1.1 million for it. I sold it 2 weeks ago for 1.7. Everything I do is strategize. Yeah, I buy shit and I use it for promoting my car shows, but I also strategize when I'm gonna let it go. Everything has a go plan. So back to your question. So my daughter is in school for real estate. She goes to NYU for real estate. So all my properties that I have and property managing and how we do things, that's her business. That's her job.
I love it.
She runs that part of the business. That's what she does. It's already running for her. Because at the end of the day, I just want my daughter to be happy. There's no amount of money in the world that can make somebody happy. Right? I look at my mom and my pops. My dad is a retired police officer. My mother worked for Guardian Life Insurance. They were never happy. They worked so much. Yeah. So I set that business up for her. My son, his name is Logan. He does sports. He loves cars. I created the car show for him to be able to run. You look at the international car show, and we've all been to the international car shows, but those car shows ain't for our culture.
Yeah.
You know, my first car was a 1986 Honda Accord. I worked all summer to put 16-inch rims and a bazooka in the back. That was car. That was culture. I'm sure y'all had cars that y'all put rims on it and fog lights. That's culture.
Yeah.
So why is the corporate world or white people making money off of our culture and we're not making none? So I said, let me create my own car show that's for our culture. So we can have a little bit of everything. We can have carnival rides and games, but then also bring vendors that represent our culture. EYL was a sponsor of one of our events, and they had their cars there. We've had barbershops, people that have their own Armor All type of product and their own washing fluid and everything like that. So now we bring that to every market, like the International Car Show. We always talk about we got to create things for ourselves. That's for us. Then we pull people from different markets. I did it with Trey, The Truth. I did it with Lynn from Turkey Hut. Now we bring everybody involved. So now we bring stuff for the city that helps the city, but not just help the city. I don't give a fuck about the city. Help our people in the city. So we do 7-8 markets a year. My son that's 18 years old, he runs that with me. Now he has that. He runs that business. I'm opening a dispensary. I was telling you guys about that before, about the dispensary I'm doing in Atlantic City. That's all me and my wife. Create that for another kid. So now, no matter what, all my kids have a different part of the business that they're running. So if the real estate starts to slow down and gets fucked up, the car show stuff is good. If the car show stuff gets fucked up, the dispensary stuff is good. And, we have all these types of different businesses that we're creating. But that's the reason why I work so hard to make sure that we always throw the term out generational wealth, but a lot of times people just say it because it sounds good. But we really got to create it and make sure we pull people in with us. But that's the reason why I work so hard.
Because you have to understand, making money, right? If you work hard at it, right, and you don't stop, you can make money. But when you're not here, is that money still going to grow? And the rest of your family are going to know what to do with it. Because that's one thing. I meet people all the time that when I buy properties, that their dad left them a building, right? Their mother left them this, uncle or whatever. and they're selling me the property, right? And its properties are all grand slams, and I'm looking at them like, so your family worked their whole life so hard to have this, leaving for you guys, and now you guys are giving it away to me. I say giving it away because I know I'm making money on it, right? As soon as I'm buying it, I'm killing it. So for example, one of the things that me and my wife did for my daughter's 16th birthday last year, instead of throwing her a party, we bought her a 12-unit building in Chicago. And now she's already in the business. She's already learning. I got the building for $150,000. I put $300 into it. It's already worth $1.4 million. Now all of her bills. Now she's learning how to, manage her money, what the business is, and she's already like, she graduates next year from high school. She's like, Dad, I don't want to go to college. And I was like, why not? I'm gonna take over your company. I'm like, you sure? You should go to college. And she looks at me, you didn't go to college. And I'm like, God damn it. I can't say and she says, Mom didn't go to college. I'm like, oh man. But it's one of those things. But the thing is that when we're not here anymore, right? All of us we got to make sure that the people that are still here, they're taken care of, and for generations to come.
Now I will say this. I seen people in the comments talk about college, and they be like, I gotta fight that one. Me and him are different with that. I went to Hampton University, which was an HBCU, and I didn't go for music. I went for business and marketing because I knew I was going to be rich, right? I knew what I did. I knew I was going to make money because I was persistent, but I had to figure out what I was going to do when I made it. I had to figure out how I was going to market myself. So when you see the book that came out and that rollout, that was me marketing. When you see the car shows, that's my marketing, but I got all of that from college for me. It worked for me.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Caesar, let me ask you this. We were at dinner a few weeks ago, and you was telling us about all these properties. Like, you got this property in Miami for a couple $100,000 and you sold it for $1 million. And you just said that Chicago situation where you're getting it for $120,000. You put a couple. I don't want to just breeze over that. Can you walk us through some of because you get these deals all the time. Can you walk us through some of these deals, like maybe pick one or two and kind of like walk it through from start to finish, and then include where you're finding these properties? Because I know you're like a junkie when you're looking on these websites all night.
So right now, I'll give you an example. One of the biggest deals that I have coming up. So I'm buying 800 units in Chicago. The property, I'm getting the whole deal. Everything comes out to about $58 million, right? Is already worth with the cash flow that I'm getting. And the property is in good condition, right? That particular property is already worth $80 million, and I'm getting it for 58, right? So I was trying to explain that deal yesterday when we were at the event in Brooklyn, and pretty much I'm not even putting up any money because pretty much at this point I'm the king of leverage. So I'm buying the property for $58 million. The person that I'm buying the property from, he was a bad operator, right? Let's just say that, right? He wasn't from that area. So he had no business buying in that area, right? And $15 million, he's giving me a credit of $3 million. I'm at $55 million. Then the bank is going to give me 75% of that. So what I did, I have 25% of LP money, meaning I have a limited partner. So now when I close this deal and I come to the table, I actually walk away with a check and I don't put any money up.
So that's amazing. Congratulations.
Bravo. Yeah.
But the average person is not going to do anything in it. So let's talk. I know you got some like single family. Single family home.
What's something you bought in Chicago?
So right now, I think one of the best areas, right, that you can invest in is the Midwest. Right now, you can get on average a 3-family in Chicago that needs work for about anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000. Once the property is fixed, you're probably looking at an ARV of anywhere between $280,000 to $300,000. We're also really excited that we're going to start investing in also Wisconsin in Milwaukee. A lot of home runs there. For most people that can't afford this market in the tri-state area, that's definitely a great market. On average, you could probably pick up a property there anywhere between $10,000 and $40,000 for a 2-family, which is incredible right now.
You said $10,000?
Yeah, $10,000 to $40,000.
What neighborhoods in Chicago and Milwaukee? Can we chip in?
Well, Chicago is near where they're building the Barack Obama Library. If you look in those close areas, there's water over there. Those are the areas we're looking at. Milwaukee is a little different. Milwaukee has different areas in different places. So, of course, because the Milwaukee Bucks are so big, so many people go down there. People are living there. Even though it is a gray city at times, there's a lot of great deals. For us, we think Milwaukee is kind of like how Detroit was when we picked up Detroit early, right? We were buying properties from Detroit from the land bank for $5,000 to $10,000. People thought we were crazy. And then Dan Gilbert happened to say, you know what, I want to build Detroit up. And he built Detroit up. And a lot of those properties that we paid $10,000, $15,000 for, $20,000 for, shot up to well over $300,000, $400,000. So those are the markets that we're looking at. And like he said earlier, a lot of times when people talk about buying their spouse a nice birthday gift or a bag, because bags are expensive right now. If you want to buy a bag for your wife or shoes for your wife or whatever it may be, instead of doing that, think about picking up a property, $10,000 property, $5,000 property, something like that, just to hold and try to figure it out. Because at the end of the day, that bag, yeah, it will go up in value. But after your wife wears it one time, she scuffs it or drops it, or she walks outside and gets her foot stuck in a brick walking down the street, it's not going to be worth nothing. But that $5,000, $10,000 property will always continue to grow. So those what we try to do with our kids and wives, and we're trying to make that a thing in our community instead of just, oh, I bought my wife a watch. Oh, I bought my wife for this. Oh, I bought my wife. Nah, let's try to do those types of things. Same thing with our kids.
And you was talking about your kids, and you said 2 businesses. So I said that's 2. I know you got 4 more kids, so that means there's some more business coming. So yeah, I'm sure big things are on the way.
Yeah, we have a lot of things coming on.
Yeah. So, Caesar, one of the things you spoke about, and it's pretty interesting, you said creating relationships is vitally important, obviously with contractors and having your team. But 3 specific positions, you talked about having strong relationships, were having a strong relationship with realtors, REO agents, and state attorneys. Can you talk about the importance of having those people on your side and getting to know them and developing relationships with them?
The most important thing is your relationship with your realtor, right? Most people don't understand that part. Having a good realtor and somebody's going to bring you deals off market, on market before they hit the market is very important, right? But you also got to understand too, you can't waste anybody's time. So when any realtor calls me, they already know, oh, this guy's going to close the deal, right? He's not going to play around. Then you also have relationships with estate attorneys, right? And estate attorney, somebody passes away. A lot of times the heirs don't want to deal with the properties and they just want to get rid of them. They don't want the headache. I get a lot of deals from different estate attorneys around the country. That's very important too. You know, like, and every week, anybody that brings me a deal, I send them a text message. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Mm-hmm. I get some tickets to a basketball game or a football game. Hey, here's a ticket. Hey, I got this restaurant. You want to go eat dinner with me? Like you got to keep on building those relationships. Because every time a deal pops up, first thing they look at, oh shit, I got a deal. It's going to Caesar.
What site? What are the top 3 sites that you guys like to use to find your deals?
As far as commercial properties, I like CityFeet. CityFeet is nationwide. You can find commercial deals nationwide. Okay. That's one of the best properties for that. You can also have LoopNet, but LoopNet you have to pay a subscription. I still get deals from auction.com. I still get deals from Hubzu. Also local sheriff sales. I've been picking up a lot of stuff from the local sheriff sales too, in New Jersey especially. Those are the main sites that I'm using. In New Jersey, I'm in Passaic County. Most of my stuff that I'm buying, well, I've been in Passaic County for a long time, so I use the Garden State MLS. Every single state you go to, they all have different MLSs, so it depends where you are.
Perfect.
The sheriff's sale, what's that, like auction?
Yeah, so it's pretty much an auction. Everywhere is different. It's usually either Tuesday or Thursday, depends what city or state you're in. You go, you look at a property. You usually have to do your research before you get there. And you usually have to put down that day anywhere between 10 to 20% with certified funds. And then you have to close in 30 to 45 days.